Premier League insider David Ornstein to talk a little bit about this transfer window, and we'll start with Arsenal after their win yesterday. And this week, Mikel Arteta was pushed on whether he wants a new striker, and he said as long as they are the right one. And that, David, is the problem. They've got 8 days to find the right striker.
They do, Rebecca, and I thought Mikel Arteta was quite pointed in his comments to express his desire to bring in a new striker, reinforcements to help them in this second half of the season. And I think they will do something. Don't know for sure, but that's my sense, because work is ongoing inside the club to explore their various options to bring in somebody that Mikel Arteta feels is the right one, in the words that you referenced there. And they will have preferences. There are all manner of factors involved in these decisions in terms of the players that they want, the style of play, the finances involved, whether the player wants to come, whether the club is willing to do business with Arsenal on a loan or a permanent basis. If you bring a player in on loan, why are they available on loan now? If they're available permanently, do you have the money? And what ramifications will it have on your summer budget, which will be so important to Arsenal as well? Many people will be watching this saying, give us some names, give us some names. Well, right now, I don't know who Arsenal are going to bring in this window. We know that Mikel Arteta's top target overall is Alexander Isak of Newcastle United, but he's simply not available, and Newcastle intend to renew his contract, to keep hold of him. Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig, he's not going to be moving in this window. Let's see what happens on that in the summer. So we'll have to watch this space on a striker. Arsenal are getting busy, or trying to be, in the market. They're working on a deal to sign Sverre Nipam, a really highly rated Norwegian midfielder, 18 years old, from Rosenborg. They're advancing in talks with his representatives and club to club. Nothing has been agreed. There's no decision made on his future. Others are interested in him, such as Girona in Spain. Not Manchester City. They are not going to be signing him. But let's see how that one plays out. He will be moving in this window. Then you've got the... Sorry, my laptop just went off there. We've got the possibility of Alexander Zinchenko departing Arsenal. They would be open to that. And if he goes, it means that Kieran Tierney would be staying. He's had interest in him from clubs taking him on loan for January. Tierney, even though Arsenal will be letting him go for nothing in the summer, he's expected to move to Celtic because they've decided not to trigger an option in his contract to extend. But Zinchenko could be a mover too. So Arsenal, I do expect to be one of the busiest teams as the window draws towards a close, just because they really want to do something in that striking department. Well, it is the January transfer window. You are David Ornstein, so we'd expect nothing less than your phone to go off during the middle of this conversation. You've got a lot to tell us. Let's talk Manchester United. Alejandro Garnacho. There was talk about a swap deal with Christopher Nkunku at Chelsea this week. What is the latest on whether Garnacho is going to leave United? It's possible that Garnacho will move. That's certainly something that I wouldn't dismiss, because there's interest in him, Rebecca, from Napoli, as has been well documented, but they've not come close to the sort of financial numbers that Manchester United would expect. There have been inquiries, as I've previously reported, from Chelsea, and that would be very interesting, but we don't know this is going to materialise. I would expect it to go down pretty late in the window, and there could be some last-minute deadline day activity. Of course, Nkunku is a player who I'm sure Manchester United and many other clubs admire. It's not gone so well for him at Chelsea. So again, could something develop late on that suits all parties? There's no definitive answer on that just yet. The sort of dialogue continues on them and many other players. But of course, if Garnacho was to leave, it would raise huge finance for Manchester United, because it would be pure profit, having come through their system after joining from Atletico Madrid at a very young age. Elsewhere, we've got to keep an eye on the left-back situation at Manchester United. They're trying to sign Patrick Dorgu from Lecce in Italy. No agreement so far. Talks continue. They also have an interest in their former left-back, Alvaro Fernandez, who's at Benfica. They've got a buyback option on him for 18 million euros. So maybe that would be an alternative scenario if they don't get Dorgu. Marcus Rashford, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Nothing is decided just yet. He's got a preference of Barcelona if he goes, but it's no guarantee he will. There are other clubs interested in him in Europe, in the Premier League, or he could yet stay at Manchester United. And that will affect a lot. Departures, Anthony going on loan to Real Betis. Can they get Malacia out? Casemiro? It's going to be difficult, but then they will make decisions based on who they can get out, on who might come in. And they have really good news overnight, Rebecca. on their new potential stadium, because the British government have thrown their weight behind the regeneration of the Old Trafford area. The Chancellor, Rebecca Lowe, has said she's in favour of it. She's championing it. So Manchester United would get support potentially from the government on stuff outside of the stadium. They will take care of all the finances on the stadium. And they're leaning towards a new 100,000-seater stadium as opposed to redeveloping Old Trafford. But there's no final decision on that yet. That will come at the end of the season. They could even start some initial works towards the end of this calendar year. But that's a potentially very significant step forward for the future of Manchester United, for the whole Ineos project, and also for the British government, the country and the region of Manchester as a whole.
Yeah, that really is very good news for them, isn't it? David Ornstein, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.